Every year, more than 2/3 of the deaths worldwide can be credited to third world countries. Most of these deaths are caused by diseases that already have cures, and most likely these deaths could have been easily avoided if these developing third world countries were given the resources needed to thrive. However, I'm not saying anything groundbreaking or revolutionary. As Americans, we are very familiar with the fact that underdeveloped countries exist, but now is the time to change that, while these countries still have a chance to catch up. My whole life, I have been visiting third world countries like Costa Rica, Haiti, and Africa. And by visiting, I made fundraising money to go on a mission trip. Not only was I very humbled by this experience, but it made me realize that the more gains America makes, these third world countries fall more and more behind. As someone who has seen firsthand the lack of progress third world countries are making in every area, I cannot stress enough how badly these countries need our help. The best way to grasp this is by understanding that the biggest problems faced by these countries are the problems that prevent further development. We can sum up these problems into two main categories: the lack of healthcare and education. According to the World Healthcare Organization, nearly half of our world lacks essential and basic healthcare supplies. The main issue is accessibility to healthcare. The World Healthcare Organization has subcategorized the main reasons that remote communities are unable to gain access to basic health needs. The first being geographic, meaning that these communities are unable to reach their needs because there might be only one or two healthcare facilities located in the bigger towns. Nearly all people that live in the more remote areas do not have cars, so they would have to walk a very far distance while in the need of medical help. This means that going to the doctor is also weather permitting. The biggest issue with the lack of health care is their lack of financial accessibility. It's no lie that healthcare is expensive and is considered a luxury not many can afford. Many people that live in underdeveloped countries are exempt from medical bills, which lowers the income these medical offices are getting. Therefore, they are functioning on a first-come, first-serve, or most dire first-serve basis. However, when a family has a medical emergency, they are not totally exempt from all costs. This can cause the family to go into even further financial distress. Let's say a patient was able to get to the doctor and pay whatever type of fee for their initial visit. They most likely will not be able to be treated for it, considering the low access of drugs in these countries. Not only is the lack of healthcare a huge issue, but also the lack of education received. Many are considered lucky if they are ever taught to read and write. 20% of the younger generation lacks the skills needed for a career or a working job. There are multiple issues third world countries are facing in the terms of lack of education. The right environment is crucial to a child learning, but many places do not have the right setting for a successful education. Most places do not have a building. If there is a building, they are severely overcrowded. Almost most schools do not have running water or toilets. Another major issue is the cost of sending a child to school. Most likely, the family of the child is unable to pay for the schooling. Because the families can't pay, they rely on scholarships or sponsorships, but this usually only affects one child in the family. So the one child goes to school, then is tasked with going home and teaching their siblings every day. It is reported that it only costs $1.25 a day for a child to go to school. As you can see, third world countries lack a multitude of things, but more specifically, healthcare and education. These things greatly impact the overall well-being of the state because they firstly are unable to stop the spread of curable disease, resulting in high death rates. And because only a select few children get the privilege of going to school, they are unable to learn the skills needed for a job to further the economy. As stated before, we cannot wait much longer to take action. Funding is desperately needed to help allow these countries the resources needed for basic human survival. Thank you.